podcast where we unpack the strength, vulnerability, and resilience from perspectives like men don't always talk about, which is but desperately need to. So today's episode is where we'll be talking about hit by life, how to bounce back after a car accident. And that's not just about car crashes, it's all about every collision life throws our way, like trauma, pain, and those moments when you wonder, like, if you will ever feel like yourself again. Yeah. So, dear listeners, my guest today is someone who knows this journey inside and out. So, please welcome Dr. Braxton Nguyen. So, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Avik. B- Glad to
Amazing.
be here.
Amazing. So, dear listeners, before we delve deep into the discussion, I will quickly love to introduce you with Dr. Braxton. So, Dr. Braxton is a chiropractor, clinic owner, and a lifelong student of natural healing. So, after a devastating sports injury in his own life, he discovered the transformative power of chiropractic care. And today he leads Access Health Centers across Portland and Beaverton. So, where he helps people recover from auto accidents, chronic pain, and structural trauma without relying on surgery or medication. So, we are going to talk not only about the physical side of healing, but also about the mental toll of recovery, the masculinity trap of toughing it out, and what it means to build back stronger in both body and the mind. So, I'll not take much of your time, dear listeners. Let's get into it. Welcome to the show again, Dr. Preston.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Avik.
Amazing. So, Dr. Braxton, like many men after a car accident or maybe injury, uh, tend to minimize like what happened, like telling themselves they are fine even when they are not. So, from your perspective, like what do you think? I mean, why do men so often delay care, and how does that affect recovery?
Yes, I think part of it is because of the stigma,
Mm,
with men. A lot of times they feel like they have to tough it out. Oftentimes, through the years, helping people with auto-related trauma, a lot of times I actually see more of the females that come in sooner than men, and only because of the stigma in society where men feel like if they're in any type of injury or the body can tough it out. But one of the things with trauma, especially as it relates to car accident, if not addressed earlier, that can really put a stress on not only the physical part of your body, but over time mentally as well. And so we encourage, especially the men in the society, if they do get in any type of trauma, whether it's accidents or other type of injuries, to get care sooner than later.
understood. So, like, what would you say to someone who is listening right now, like, who's quietly struggling but refusing to get checked?
I would recommend, don't be recognize that if you have any fear or anxiety of the unknown or not what to expect, just to come in, even if they come in just for an initial consultation, a lot of times that initial consultation will allow us to kind of open up and acknowledge their feelings. A lot of times they try to retain their feelings and it builds up over time. And so I encourage the individuals just to come in, just to be very transparent and open up about their feelings, what they've been experiencing. And that way, from my perspective, I can get a little bit better understanding what they've been going through. And then if they have questions, we can address their concerns as well.
Hmm, that's really amazing. And um, also, like, I mean, for this definitely, I mean, I think that really hits on the cultural script that men inherit. And it's powerful to hear you call that out. So, that's true. And so, like, you have been through your own version of this, like living with the pain after your sports injury until you found the chiropractic care. So, how did that personal journey shape the way that you show up for patients today?
Absolutely. So, I've been in practice for over 20 years, and
Mm,
the how it led me on this journey, a path of health and healing naturally, and to service the community. is, in high school, I was, in a, track and field incident where I ran, a short sprint, what's called a 4x1 relay, and ruptured my, uh, ACL or a cruciate, ligament, and I had to have reconstructive surgery. And as a high school, athlete,
Mm,
everything revolves around sports during that time.
right.
So that trauma happened, it really hit me, to the core
Mm,
because, sports was really no longer something that I could pursue in the future only because of the level of trauma that I had. I did have to go through, the medical path where I had to have surgery on my right knee, but the key thing that really shaped the course of what led me into the journey of what I am doing today is when I was going through the, medical path with following the surgery and then physical therapy for,
mm,
multiple months to, strengthen my knee again, I was actually prescribed, heavy dose of, pain meds, particularly oxycodone, and this is back in the '90s where it was actually an epidemic, and every single time I would go back to the orthopedic, surgeon to reevaluate for my knee, I would always, let the physician know there that I was still having chronic pain in my knee, and the only thing that he would return in response was that I may have to live with it. It may be something that I would have to live with the rest of my life, and I'm only a teenager during that time.
mm,
And along with that, he was constantly prescribing more medication as it relates to more pain meds.
yeah.
Fortunately, um, my brother-in-law who lived out or who was going to school, as a chiropractor in the Northwest, that's what brought me out here. He told me that you really need to take a look at your health right now because, you don't want to go into the path where you're going to go into a rabbit hole with the medication, and potentially being one of those statistics that could, potentially, lead your life into, a dark, dark place. That really opened up my eyes, and basically, he said, "Talk to other healthcare practitioners in the area, see what other options there are. Talk to chiropractor," because he was going to chiropractic, and then, there's epiphanies that happens in your life, right? And,
Right.
that time, right after my trauma, there was a guest speaker that came to our high school, about, different professions, and one of them was chiropractor. And during that time, I didn't really know what chiropractic was all about. I know my brother-in-law was going out to school here, but the chiropractor was started talking about the nervous system, the mechanics of the body, how, you can address it naturally without pain, medication, or drugs, and it really hit home. I'm like, "Oh my goodness, this may be the potentially what I needed." So I started asking him questions about chiropractic, and really that was kinda like the catalyst to, leading me into a journey where I wanted to know more about the natural, side of helping people, well, understanding the healing process naturally. Eventually, I, got my prerequisite in chiropractic, at Penn State, and eventually I followed in the footsteps of my brother-in-law and moved out here to Portland to become a chiropractor. During that my time as a chiropractic student, I was in the, student health clinic, and I started learning more about the mechanics of the body, the nervous system, and eventually, with the assistance of the clinicians at the student health clinic and myself learning about chiropractic, I was able to basically take care of my chronic knee pain, which I've had for years, and, eventually wean off of the, pain meds, and I knew this was something that was meant to be, and I wanted to take that knowledge and eventually once I graduate as a chiropractor, to kinda share with
Mm,
my patients, and the rest is history.
wow, that's really amazing. I mean, and do you feel that lived experience gives you a kind of credibility that textbooks never could?
100%, absolutely. Personal experience is what it's all about. You can learn, textbooks and read research and so forth, but really when you go through the actual life experiences, you can actually share that with your patients. Like myself, I always share that that story with my patients. And then anything that else that occurs in terms of my personal experience, it kind of led me into another journey. I'll give you another example. Well, helping people with chronic related conditions, particularly such as neuropathy, that's one of my passions as well. I had a personal experience where my own mother had neuropathy 10 years ago. And once again, it kind of led me on this journey where, she was once again medicated with gabapentin and trying to just cover and mask the symptoms. But I didn't want that to be her way of addressing the chronic condition.
Mhm.
So it led me on this journey to understand more about neuropathy and have the special training. And eventually, we were my colleague and I was able to help my mother wean off of the medication, similar to what I had when I was on pain meds, and help her naturally regain her quality of life back. Now that she's experiencing her elevation in retirement, she's able to enjoy her quality of life. So that's another personal experience, kind of guided me through that process. Now I'm helping people with neuropathy as well, addressing their concerns and their fears naturally, and then also helping guiding them the approach where with chiropractic and natural healing um, with that type of chronic related condition. So
Mhm.
personal experience is huge.
Got it. Lovely. And that's what I really appreciate, because healing is not just the theory for you, it's the lived. And I think like men listening can relate to that difference between someone who gets it and someone who just treats the symptom. So, exactly. And when someone is hit by a car accident, it's not just the body, it's the mind also that takes a blow too. So, what patterns of mental health struggles do you see like most often in your patients?
Yes, so with individuals, men or female, but definitely the men, I've seen a lot of times when they following a car accident,
Yeah.
not only the physical part can be stressed and injured, but also the mental and emotional side that can occur. And a lot of times it can lead to fear, anxiety after a
Mm,
crash, that individuals may be more susceptible to not driving the same way as they did before. So they're very
mm,
defensive in that regards. And so what I encourage individuals, like particularly the men, if they do have any of those types of fear, anxiety, or even sometimes even post-traumatic disorder following a major car crash, I encourage them once again to, have the initial contact to understand more about what they're going through, and from there, once we have a better assessment in their condition, to allow them to have that confidence back, I tell them to ease their process back into an environment where they're familiar with. So if they're concerned about driving in full on traffic where they may be in another car accident, I tell them drive in an area where it's not as congested. Just take it step by step. It's like if you never ride a bicycle, to kind of start with training wheels, that type of thing, and build that
mm,
confidence. So eventually you don't have the training wheels. So I encourage individuals to drive in an area where it's not as congested. Or if they're not ready to even drive at all, then maybe be a passenger with a driver, with a family member or friend, and then eventually, have that support system there. If the fear and anxiety does not go away after a certain period of time, particularly several weeks, then definitely even consult with a mental health specialist. Sometimes I have several colleagues of mine that are mental health specialists that I refer over, and they do what's called cognitive behavioral therapy or exposure therapy, which can assist them further into the mental aspect of their care
mm,
following a car accident. And another thing they can do also is join a support group, connect with other accident survivors that can provide a community where they can help, them to not be alone with their struggle. So there's definitely different ways of addressing those issues, particularly following a car accident and for men.
mm. True. So, like, how do you help patients address that fear, anxiety, or even the depression that comes with recovery?
So One of the things my foundation is, I'm a chiropractor that specializes in the nervous system and structural components. So,
Mm,
following car accident, a lot of times I definitely see a lot of structural change that occurs, particularly with whiplash and the forces exerts on the spine and the nervous system. So we want to make sure that we restore optimal nervous system flow as much as
mm,
possible because we know the nervous system affects everything in their body, not physical, but also the mental and emotional side as well.
mm,
So if I set them on a plan of care, I explain to them why the spine and nervous system is so important and how to address it accordingly following a car accident. Um, and we basically assist them through the stages of recovery or healing, and and comprises of three stages basically. The first stage is right after the car accident. A lot of times, there's a lot of injury, there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of inflammation, there's a lot of spasm, and along with that, the fear and anxiety. So
mm,
we want to make sure that we address it accordingly. So with the natural care that we provide by way of chiropractic adjustments tailored to the individual, we want to make sure that we improve what's called neural physiological function to basically connect from the brain through the rest of the body to allow that flow, almost like a river, so that there isn't like, any um, uh, jamming of that flow there, and allow the nervous system to flow over time. We do in-house what's called physiotherapy to address the pain, inflammation. So we do therapies such as electrical and nerve stimulation therapy, IC therapy to control the swelling or their spasming, and then also exercise structural corrective therapies to make sure that we improve the posture and the structural integrity of the injured areas following the car accident. We do also what's called traction therapy to restore the structural integrity of the spine because the spine structure wise will affect the functional capability of the nervous system as well. Now, as they are having less pain over time, then the second phase of healing following what's called the acute phase or the pain phase is the structural correction or rehabilitative phase. During that phase, it can take several months following a car accident for the body to return to normal, so to speak. And so I always let individuals know that it's going to be a journey. It's not going to be a quick fix. It takes time for the body to recover and heal, but as they're staying on the course of care, we can make sure that we monitor their progress, eventually to a point where they're called what's called pre-injury status. And during that time, then we talk about supportive maintenance care, where we just try to maintain the integrity of the spine and nervous system. All at the same time addressing any concerns emotionally or once again the fear of anxiety or but usually as they go through the course of care the nervous system is now flowing better, they have more confidence, they have more strength, they're able to do more activity, so the fear actually dissipates over time along with their anxiety.
exactly. Yeah. And okay, so some critics argue that chiropractic care is more hype than healing. And you have been in this field for decades. So what's your response to the skeptics?
I like to say chiropractic has evolved and changed over time, and so we're not just adjustment based or just chiropractic spinal adjustment based only anymore. There's many different specialties within chiropractic, so there's a lot, and there's a lot of research behind what we do now. Now it's becoming more compared to before years ago. It's becoming more mainstream. People are more willing to accept chiropractic and the benefits of it because really, we're in a society now where it's very pain based. The mat was trying to mask the symptoms, pain based oriented, and people are in the community. They're frustrated with that. They don't want to keep on doing the same thing over and over and expect
Mhm.
different results. And as you know, that's the definition of insanity. So what we try to encourage is with chiropractic, we're taking a holistic approach, root cause approach, and people are more receptive to that now because they know that truly that's how they want to go towards health and healing rather than just covering up with the symptoms. So that's why I feel Now, with
Mm.
chiropractic, it's evolved and is becoming more well accepted and more mainstream.
True. Exactly true. Yeah. And do you think that the skepticism has actually pushed you to become more evidence based and patient first in your approach?
Yes, absolutely. Over 10 years ago, being in practice over 20 years, the first 10 years, I was more of a general practitioner, more of a general chiropractor, but I wanted to really hone in terms of what I do, in terms of my craft, and really have a basis where if I recommend anything with my patients, I truly want to know 100% that what I'm doing does work and it is helping them. So I
Mm,
eventually became what's called a chiropractic biophysics practitioner. That's one
mm,
of my certifications. And eventually, that's the most research based chiropractic therapy or technique in the world. And so, with over close to 300 peer reviewed journals, and continuing to increase on a yearly basis, I use that as my basic framework to educate my patients. So when individuals comes in, we always provide them, an office tour of what we do, but also let them know that, you're coming to a chiropractic facility that is truly addressing the root cause that's evident based, and we're here to get results for whatever you want to achieve as it relates to your
mm.
quality of life.
Got it. Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. And I mean, looking back on your journey, like injury, healing, and now leading others, what's the one message you would want every man who is listening to carry forward about the resilience?
I would let them know that, don't wait. I know a lot of times we particularly with the men, a lot of times they like to wait and expect that things may go away. So
Mm,
if it's fear, anxiety, or physical component there, don't push it through. You only have one body. You have to make the best of it. You can't replace your body with parts and expect it to be
mm,
normal ever again. I know very well, especially with my knee having that reconstructive surgery, it's never really 100% again. I've helped them in many ways, from a natural chiropractic biomechanical way, but it's still never ever going to be the same. So I encourage the men to just be open minded. If you ever have anything that you're not sure about, have professional help. Seek a consultation to start off the process, and allow other individuals to help you guide you through any struggles that you may have, especially after a car accident or any injury for that matter, and not wait because it'll take a toll on you later on, where there's scar tissue limiting mobility, less energy, and leading to just overall poor quality of life. So don't wait would be my message.
amazing. Amazing. So lovely, lovely. And that's a powerful note to land on because it strips away the noise and leaves men with something real, actionable, and life changing. So, Dr. Braxton, thank you so much for bringing not only your expertise, but also your humanity to the conversation. And I have to say that you have reminded us that bouncing back isn't just about the bones and the muscles, but it's all about identity, patience, and the courage to heal fully. So, to everyone who is listening, remember this that accidents, whether cars, careers, relationships, don't define you. So, what defines you is the decision to recover, to rebuild, and to reclaim your strength in the body and mind. So, if you found value today, share this episode with someone who might need it. And please do subscribe to Mind Over Masculinity and let's keep writing what it really means to be strong. And before we move, um, Dr. Braxton, like if someone wants to connect with you, what will be the great medium?
Oh, yes, in terms of how they connect with us, is that what you asked?
Yeah, where people can find you.
Oh, yes. So they can either go to our website, it's www.accesshealthcenters.com. And just check out our services and or schedule for a complimentary consultation. Or they can call us directly. Our number here is 503-644-4664, and we'd be happy to assist the community.
Great, lovely. So, dear listeners, what I'll do is I'll put all the links into the show notes for your easy reference. And with this hope, until next time, this is your host, Avik. So, stay present, stay resilient, and stay true to yourself. So, thank you so much.
Thank you, Ave.